once again welcome. So just give you a kind of introduction, whatever we have discussed in the morning, please start. So it is representative text of Hatha Yoga. It has preferred to call itself Ghat Yoga through though from all the practice point of view there is no difference between the practices. Hatha is a technical term made up of Ha and Tha. In the morning we have discussed. And Ghat in Sanskrit means the mud pot. Human body has been conceived as unbaked mud pot and required to be baked. That is what is the concept of Gerinda. Please go ahead. Just will take a round. Swatmaram is the author of text Hatha Pradipika, who is supposed to be of the lineage of Nath Yogis. Gerinda is the author of, and he doesn't have any lineage. This is more evident from the enumeration of the names of accomplished yogis. His lineage is not determined, however. Through the text it can be inferred that he was a yogi and Vaishnavite. His date of birth 14th century, Hatha Pradipika. Whatever we have carried out, the critical edition which contains 5 chapters, wherein we have on the basis of our research we have established that Hatha Pradipika stands on 14th century AD. But this 18th century AD. Next. Hatha Pradipika Raj Yogaya Upadishyate, in the beginning it has made clear. It is presented in the form of dialogue between preceptor Gerinda and disciple Chankapali. On being asked how to remove the fetters of the world, preceptor Gerinda started describing the method of yoga. Next. Just will take a round. Now here the 4 limbs. Asana, Kumbhaka, Mudra and Nadanusandhan. And how many? Gerinda? 7. Wherein cleansing processes, Chatakriyas, Asana, Mudra, Pratyahar, Pranayam, Dhyana and Samadhi. Just a round. So sequential relationship, in the morning it is made clear. So with regard to this, you need the sequential relationship with regard to Hatha Pradipika. But it seems that there is no sequence because Pratyahar he has taken first and Pranayam afterward. So on the basis of this description we can say that particularly for Gerinda there is no need of sequence, but in Hatha Pradipika there is a need of sequence. Further, there are only 45 practices have been described in Hatha Pradipika. Asanas are 15, cleansing process 7, Kumbhakas 9, Mudras 10, Nadanusandhan 4. That is what the Arambhavastha, Ghatavastha, Parichayavastha and Nishpattivastha. So 4 states of Nadanusandhan. So 45 practices. Here you can see 21 cleansing processes. It is a detailed manual book. Asana 32, Mudras 25. But here in 20 Mudras and 5 on the basis of the 5 elements, that is what he has included in the Mudras. Pratyahar 5, Pranayama 10. Though he describes only the 8, but if you go through the text you will find that there are 10 pranayama. Here Kumbhakas 8, Ashta Kumbhakam. That is what is mentioned in Hatha Pradipika also, but he talks about the 9 Kumbhakas. So Pranayama 10, last one. Dhyan 3, that is Sthula, Jyoti and Suksham Dhyan, and Samadhi 6. So 102 practices all over. Yes. So Hatha Pradipika enumerates 6 felicitatory factors which help sadhaka in getting success, and so also enumerates 6 obstructing factors. These are the 5 sadhaka and badhaka tattva. We call it obstructing factors as well as the facilitatory factors. So no such enumeration is available in Girinda, but at places it has reminded the sadhaka to have control over senses, especially in pratyahara. Now here you can compare the Surya Vedanu Jai Sitkari Shitali Vastrika Brahmari Mursha Plavani Ittest Kumbhaka. That is what is this verse goes. Here Sahit and then Surya Vedanu Jai, almost a last one instead of Plavani has accepted the Kevali Kumbhaka. Next. So Nari Shodhan Pranayam. The HP prescribes alternative breathing with Kumbhaka. Actually speaking, those who are not practitioners, it is suggested that in the beginning one has to do Anulom Bilom Pranayam, only inhalation and exhalation. Exhalation should be double in comparison to the inhalation. And we have done this experimental study in our institute, wherein we found that there's no oxygen value in pranayam. People used to mistake. They say that there is an oxygen value. No, there's no oxygen value. But you develop a tolerance to the carbon dioxide. That is most important part of this pranayam. And at least 3 months, one should practice only Anulom Bilom. Means you should inhale to the left nostril, then you exhale to the right, inhale to the right and exhale to the left. This will be one round without Kumbhaka. At least 3 months one should practice this. When the system is very well acquainted, thereafter you can introduce the Kumbhaka part. It depends individual to individual. Jatha Shakti. Clearly it is mentioned. You have to assess yourself and accordingly you have to practice. There is no hard and fast rule that this much is to be practiced. So you have to understand your own capacity and accordingly you have to increase the number. Actually speaking, the purpose is each and every individual breathes 21,600 times a day. A day stands for 24 hours. If you remain angry, agitated, or so this number can be double. Our life span depends upon the breathing. Therefore, it is said that if you decrease this number, your longevity will be increased. But if you increase the number, the longevity will be decreased. So, therefore, we have to be careful. Now, there may be question that while walking and doing the exercise, physical exercise, this number increases, isn't it? So it increases. Or in Kapalbhati also, it increases. When you are doing Kapalbhati, you are giving a kind of what you call preparing yourself for the pranayam. Thereafter you will be able to retain the prana as much as you can. So you can reduce the number thereafter. So this is what we have to keep in mind. But if you are not very well acquainted with this pranayam, no Kumbhaka should be introduced. Automatically Kumbhaka, when you are inhaling with awareness, exhaling with awareness, inhaling with awareness, automatically you will see when you inhale, automatically there is a pause inside. When you exhale completely, there is a pause outside. Just increase the time of this pause and automatically you will find that the Kumbhaka retention part is introduced. So it should be done very carefully, because in Adipardipika Swatmanam has mentioned, as the ringmaster controls the wild animals, in the circus you might have seen, Hathi says Namaste or lion or this or that. So the ringmaster trains such animals, wild animals, slowly. Similarly, we have to train ourselves slowly. So very slow. So at least 3 months. In Vasishtha Samhita, there is one book, Vasishtha Samhita. it is mentioned that 3 months at least one should practice Anulom Vilom without Kumbhaka. Thereafter you introduce the Kumbhaka. Suppose someone comes to your class and he is new practitioner, you should not give him the Kumbhaka part. Just say Anulom Vilom. And exhalation may be made double. Okay, this much. Pardon? No, in the beginning, if you are not the practitioner, you should not retain the prana. And whenever you are retaining the prana, you must know how to do Mool Bandha. While doing this Mool Bandha, it is just, it is not only the NS log. If you go through the Josna commentary on Hatpar Deepika, Brahmananda has written a commentary, and I am also one of the editors. We have edited this commentary also. If you practice it wrongly, your stool becomes like the bakri ki mingna jo hoti hai. Yes. What do you call it? Yeah. Yes. So that it means that your Mool Bandh is wrong. You are practicing. So what we should do is, instead of putting the heel, we are putting the heel on the NS with a view to lock the NS. That is, it is better always. Heel is to be put in the perineum part at the Sivini pelvic floor. But if you lift the rectum part, automatically there will be NS lock. This is the best type of practice of Mool Bandha. If you lift little bit the rectum part, automatically there will be an NS lock. Whatever you are doing, means when you are introducing Kumbhaka, then it should be done. Pranayam should be done along with the bandhas. Yes. Otherwise, in the beginning, just to train the system, you can inhale with awareness, exhale with awareness. That is 3 months at least. Thereafter, automatically you will develop an urge to retain the prana inside or outside. Automatically. Yeah, it is. But if you put Mool Bandha, it is too good. It is more effective. More effective. In any kind of pranayam, whenever you are doing pranayam, if you practice Mool Bandha, right from beginning to the end, of course, inhalation then Mool Bandha. No, actually speaking, yes, that is what we have experimented. Swamiji long back, he himself has experimented and established. People before that understanding that oxygen value is there in pranayam. But that is not the case. You develop a tolerance to the carbon dioxide. When you are retaining the prana inside, you are tolerating the carbon dioxide. That is the most important part of pranayam. And these experimental studies are published. It is published in Yoga Mimamsa. Your lungs capacity is increased. Lungs capacity is increased. Your lungs capacity is increased. That is the most important part. You have to continue. No exhalation, no release in the exhalation. Otherwise the air may go through the anus. So that we have to stop. We have to lift the apana upward. That is the purpose. Yes. Throughout if you practice, your practice of pranayam will be more fruitful. Pardon? No, it is the Mool Bandha I have discussed with you. But we are going to discuss. And Jalandhar Bandh is that you have to put the chin in the jugular notch. So, my purpose is you are not allowing the prana to go out through the upper doors, nor the lower doors. You are irritating the prana inside. so that it can enter into Sushumna. That is what is the purpose behind. And Udinam Kurte, with the help of Udyan Bandha, this prana which is revolving at the perineum part, it jumps into Sushumna. Therefore, Udinam Kurte Mahakhaga. Mahakag stands for the prana. That universal prana which is individualized, that prana jumps into Sushumna with the help of Udyan. Therefore, it is called Udyan Bandha. You may be practicing Udyan in standing position. Just posterior stretching, you raise up the diaphragm, isn't it? So, in Mool Bandha, with the help of this Mool Bandha, Kumbhakante Rechakadau, Kumbhakante, at the end of the Kumbhaka and in the beginning of Rechaka, you have to perform the Udyan Bandha, and then only you will be able to rechannelize the prana into Sushumna Nadi. That is what is the most.
Sir, after Rechak, when we do Udyan Bandha.
After Rechak?
We do Udyan Bandha.
Yes. Yes. That would be.
Then before doing the next pranayama, can we take one normal breath and then?
Of course, even if when you are reciting Om, so in between, if you take one normal breath, it will be too good. You will be more concentrated, more contemplative.
I have this question from very long.
This is very nice. One normal breathing should be there. So you will not be agitated. You will not be disturbed.
No disturbance.
Yes. Pardon? Means if you recite once, then take one normal breathing. Then inhale. Then again start. This is which in one normal breathing in between. And in the beginning, thereafter, I would like to share with you. In our institute, there is you might be knowing, the expressway is going. If you go Swamiji's Kuti, near Swamiji's Kuti there is a small temple. And there is a big stone, I was sitting on the stone in the morning, 5 o'clock, and I was reciting Omkar loudly. Whatever the vehicles they are going, by the side, they are producing the same sound. Everything is producing the same sound, that kind of experience you can get. Yes. Otherwise, when the heavy vehicle comes, is a different sound. When the light vehicle comes, different sound. It was equal. Same sound is being produced. And you are totally contemplated upon the sound. Whether you recite it thereafter, whether you don't recite, it is going on continuously. It is a wonderful experience. I used to sit there, and whenever you come, you go there. That stone is the enlightened stone. Without Udyan Bandha, pran cannot enter into Sushumna. Both they are talking about. No. Udyan is just you have to, just to prepare the system. We are practicing it in standing position. But you have to sit, suppose Padmasana or Siddhasana or whatever it may, in any comfortable posture. When you are doing pranayam, that time you have to perform the Udyan Bandha. You are posterior stretching. You are taking the stomach towards the back. So that is posterior. You might be knowing Udyan Bandha. Okay. Yeah, that is because new practitioners coming. That is what I was suggesting, that if there are new practitioners, old practitioners, they can introduce the Kumbhaka. But for the new practitioners, no Kumbhaka should be introduced. Otherwise, there may be problem. And there is no solution for this. If pran goes wrong side, there is no solution at all. Man can become mad, Therefore, easily, slowly, as the ringmaster controls the wild animals, slowly, similarly. That is what we have to instruct the people. Okay. This is what last one, visualization, the previous one. The Gheranda Samhita, internal breathing as well as visualization along with the recitation of Bij mantra. So whenever you are reciting or inhaling with the help of Bij mantra, suppose Ram mantra, Bam mantra, whatever it may be. So visualization is also. So that pranayam is known as Sagarbha pranayam along with mantras. Yes. Here the 10 mudras are described, here 25 mudras, wherein 10 mudras, whatever is described by Gheranda, that is 10 other mudras and 5 dharanas. Dharana, 5 gross elements have been included under mudras. So 25 mudras. No pratyahar. Control over senses as an independent limb of yoga. HP gives frequent instructions to have control over senses in the context of other practices, thus recognizing the importance of control over senses. Advadeepika explains pratyahara in a little different way. Gheranda, along with Patanjali's tradition, given place to pratyahara in his text. You know, pranayam is pratyahara first and then pranayam. That is the sequence. Gheranda talks about pratyahara in the same line as we find in Patanjali. Gheranda also accepts Hatha Yogic Pratyahara also. Yes. In Advadeepika, we do not find any description regarding suitable season for the successful practice of yoga. But here we find that when to start and how to start. So according to Gheranda, the months of Basant, February and March, and Shard, November or December, not October, November. Morning I was talking about October, November. It is November, December. Supposed to be the best season for starting yogic practices, particularly the pranayam practice. Next. Now here we have to little bit, next one, previous one. Here little bit we have to keep in mind. Whenever we are, suppose now it is a hot season, means there is a heat outside. So if there is a fever, if there is any kind of problems, related to the heat, then Shitkari Shitali Pranayam should be practiced. It is not the case of anything. If you have fever, you should practice Shitali Shitkari with a view to cool down the fever. If you have cough and cold, do it Surya Vedana or Bhastrika Pranayam. That is what. It does not mean that all the 8 kumbhakas we have to do. Does not mean. So, whenever there is a need, suppose there is a ring worms in the stomach, then Surya Vedan Pranayam is to be practiced. If someone is suffering from this ringworms or hookworms always they are with the liver, like a hook. It is their liver. So always there is a blood deficiency, hemoglobin down rehta hai. So such person should practice Surya Vedan Pranayam. So all this we have experimented and we have seen. All experiments are published in it. Yes. But that is what I am talking about. No, not whenever you feel. See, suppose you are appearing in the interview somewhere. You are sitting in the AC room. In spite of that, you are sweating. You are sitting in AC room and you are sweating. So heat is in your mind. At that point of time, we should follow the Shitali or Chitkari. Suppose there is a cough and cold, you can do Surya Vedan or Bhastrika Pranayam. If you are really interested, this Surya Vedan and Bhastrika particularly is very much appreciated for opening the spiritual dimensions. It is very, very important. Bhastrika particularly. And Bhastrika, there are different techniques of Bhastrika. In the different texts, they are giving different techniques. What thing is that what to do in the beginning, we have to do Kapalabhati kind of practice. Plus Surya Vedan. Then you have to inhale through the right nostril, that is Surya Vedan. So say for example, whenever there is a problem related to the cough cold, so Kapalabhati plus Surya Vedan equal to Bhastrika. This Bhastrika if you use, it is more effective. And when you go on practicing, you will be able to understand how it works and whether you feel good or bad, whatever your mindset, it depends. You will be able to understand slowly. This is good for my this. Now I have selected a few practices for myself on the basis of my own observations. I have selected the pranayam, whatever the pranayam I am doing regularly. No, pranayam, whenever you have to do pranayam, you have to add your awareness to your breathing. That's all. You have to breathe in with awareness, breathe out with awareness. No, if you go to this Ashtanga also, they have given too much emphasis to this aspect. But on the basis of the experimental studies which we have carried out, so it should be normal. There's no need to do this kind of. But some of the institutions, say for example Ashtanga, you have to inhale, then you have to. Even though in yoga day, when this exercises, so they say that you have to inhale when you are taking up, then exhale when you are taking down. It is applicable, it is good, no doubt of it. When you are taking your neck towards the right side, if you inhale, while exhaling you have to take. If you want to take more, exhale. Whenever you have to focus on that. Whenever you are exhaling, try to take it further. And you will be able to understand. You will enjoy more. So it depends upon the individual practice. So you have to develop your own. Therefore, there are different techniques available in the different people have given different. Of course, yes, of course. Means if you enjoy more with breathing, it is too good. So you can apply that. Yes, you can do it. It depends upon individual to individual, because it is an individualized subject. Whatever is suitable to you may not be suitable to me. That is to be. Okay, next. So Hatipradipika does not recognize Dhyan as limb of Hatha Yoga. However, it talks about concentration on Anat Nada, internal unstruck sound. In the morning, I was talking about the struck sound and unstruck sound. So this is the same internally aroused sound. So we have to contemplate on that internally aroused sound. So that is what is the Dhyan. But here we have Sthula Dhyan, gross, Jyoti Dhyan, light, or Sukshma Dhyan, it is subtle. Next. So Nadanusandhan as Samadhi. Nadanusandhan according to Hatha Yoga is best form of Laya. Laya has also been equated with Samadhi when you become one. When you listen this sound, you become one with the sound. And as in the morning I was discussing that after listening that sound, you never recognize the object on the basis of its name and generally we recognize the object on the basis of name and form. Here the different instruments and different shapes, forms. In all the instruments, whether it is a fan, it is a whatever it may be, different forms and different names. But in all the instruments, the same energy is working. And this energy, some way or other, is connected with the powerhouse. Isn't it? So it is similarly, so different names and different forms. So long we are recognizing the object on the basis of name and forms, we are under the grip of that Maya, in other words. And when we recognize the object on the basis of its vibrations, there is a difference. So after listening this unstruck sound, Anahat Nada, that is two ways, internally aroused, yogis they say internally aroused, and in Rigvedic this, it says, when you listen the sound, Om sound without reciting the sound, because that sound is going on incessantly in this womb, in and out, everywhere. So once you listen that sound, you become one. Then thereafter, that is what is the kind of lay. Please go ahead. Now here no mantra application as in the morning I was discussing, but here we find the application of Bij mantras prescribed specially during the practice of Samanu Nadi Shodhan and Sagarbh Sahit Pranayam. This is the specialty of the Gerinda who has given this, and on the basis of this we can say that the Gerinda also having the influence of Smriti literature. Particularly, if you go through the Manu Smriti, you will find that they have given this Bij mantras as well as the Gayatri mantra, the Vyaharitis and as well as the Shiras. These Bij mantras are not related with any god, but some people may have, because some of them they may have the objection. So it has nothing to, it is a sound concept. Say for example, in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, when we are talking about the Ishvara, it is not a personified Ishvara, it is an abstract concept, it is a sound concept. Patanjali, when he says, with regard to Ishvara, he says, Klesh karma vipak asheyi raparamrishtaha purush vishesh Ishvara. One who remain unaffected by the kleshas, karmas, this and that, is said to be the Vishesh Purusha. This is the definition given by Patanjali himself. In further sutra he says, Tatra Niritishayam Sarvagnya Bijam. Niritishayam, there are two terms in Sanskrit, Satishayam and Niratishayam. Satishayam means that which can be measured. Satishay. Your education, your knowledge can be measured. That is what is Satishay. But Niratishay, your knowledge cannot be measured. It is unsurpassable knowledge. And therefore, said to be Sarvagnya Bija, is said to be the root of all knowledge, seed of all knowledge. Then thereafter he says, Sarvesham Guru, Kalena Navichetat, because this time cannot influence. So therefore, he is said to be the Guru of ancient Gurus. Then comes the Tasya. What is the symbol of this Ishvara? Tasya Vachakaha Pranava. Pranava is Om, in other words. And Tad Japas Tadartha Bhavanam. This is what is the concept of Ishvara. There is no that kind of concept in Ishvara, in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. It is an abstract concept. It is a sound concept. So similarly, whenever you are talking about the Bij mantra, it is a sound concept. It has nothing to do with any god or anything else. Please. Now here the dose available. How many times you have to do pranayama? One is required to practice 4 times a day. Now it is for the yogis who are interested to become yogi, for them 4 times a day. If I want to be a good human being, helpful to others, then if you practice it 2 times, it will be sufficient for us, for the householders. Now here, what is the ratio? Now ratio, this is in Skand Puran. If you go through the Skand Puran, you will find that this matra is this 3 claps. This is 1 matra. This is 1 matra. So the matra in the beginning, when you start, it may be 1-1. Inhalation in 1 matra or 10 matra, exhalation of 10 matra. Then inhalation of 10 matra, but exhalation is of 12 matra, 13 matra. As means you have to increase the exhalation part. It should be made double. So the ultimately we have to reach to this ratio 1:4:2. If we are inhaling 1 time, it should be retained 4 times and double. Check 2 times it should be. So likewise, here the best one is 20, 80 and 40. Means 20 matra you have to inhale, 80 matra you have to retain, 40 matra you have to exhale. This is the ratio. Mediocre ratio is this, lowest ratio is this one. And 1 matra is of 4 second. 1 matra. Lagbhag. It is for 4 second. So it vary from individual to individual capacity. So individual has to work. No other person can let you know that you have to do this or that. You have to develop your own. Okay, next one. So 7 cleansing processes. HP talks about the traditional 6 cleansing processes. He adds Gaj Karani. But if you go through the Atpadipika, this Gaj Karani is nothing. It is a kind of what you call. It is not a Gaj Karani. Gaj stands for the elephant. And how it takes the water and throws the water. But it is the description given by Swatmaram is different. If you have eaten something wrong, as you might have observed, the dog as well as the tiger, if they eat something wrong, immediately they vomit. So that kind of Gajkarani he has prescribed in his Atpadipika that you are going to go through. So Gajkarani is considered a variety of dhoti, Baman dhoti. It is a dhoti, but 7 in place 6. He has enumerated the 6, but while describing he has mentioned 7 cleansing processes. Here 21. 6 cleansing processes have been presented with their sub-classification, and it is 21 total. It is a big one. We find a great difference in the technique of Kapalbhati. 3 types of Bhalbhati described: Bhatkrama, Vitkrama, Chitkrama. There is a difference in Gyanendra Samhita. Detailed 21 practices are given for cleansing the system. Next. So the last one, in the morning I was talking about the therapeutical. If you practice wrongly, what kind of problems will be created within you and how these problems can be overcome. Say for example, the Vata problem. All problems related to the Vata. That is what it is accepted, not only in yoga but also in Ayurveda. All problems they start from the Vata. So, how to overcome a particular problem, that part is discussed in the what you call the 5th chapter of Atpadipika. So, if you go through the 5th chapter of Kaivalyadhama's publication, it is a wonderful. It also says that you have to take this kind of medicine, or you have to massage that particular area, and you have to practice, you have to contemplate on that particular area, and then only you will be able to overcome such problem. But no such type of description is available in Gyanendra Samhita. Okay? Next is thank you. So this is what is just giving you the idea. Now we can start the book from first verse to the. So if you have any question, in the next session we'll start the book. This is 3:45. I was keeping eye on the watch. This is only with the help of Mool Bandha and Jalandhar Bandha. And you should have this capacity to retain the prana inside for a long time. This is to be developed. Then only you will be able to mix these two. This concept is one and the prane juhti apanam, apane juhti prana. This is one and the same concept. But it will take lot of time. If you have that kind of capacity, if you have prepared yourself, then only you can expect. Otherwise, sometime no age limit for anything. Jara vriddho ati vriddho va durvalo artato apiva. Yuva vriddho ati vriddho va. Artato means whether young man, yuva vriddh, ati vriddh. Depends. So we have to understand our own limitations. Yes, sir. So, that is what is the beauty of this pranayama. It develops, you are able to tolerate this. And as you go on tolerating the carbon dioxide, your mind becomes calm and quiet. This is the beauty of, therefore, if yoga is an art, the application of this art is nothing but pranayama. With the help of this pranayama, you can develop that kind of harmony between your individual existence with the cosmic existence. So that is what slowly we have to go. If you go directly, then there may be harm. And that's why I am suggesting that at least 3 months, only anulom bilom, inhalation, exhalation with awareness. That's all. No retention. 3 months I am talking. If you are a regular practitioner, 3 months the retention part, kumbhaka, should not be introduced. Yes, you will be able to understand. You yourself will be able to understand. So you will be able to understand. If you are able to manage, so long you are able to manage, you manage it. Yes.
Someone has practiced for 6 months, for example, then they take a break or whatever.
No. Then again they will have to start from ABCD. And again they will have to start from the ABCD. Yes, sir. Actually, Moolbandha, during inhalation you can do the Moolbandha. Okay, Purka. Then, after the Purka you have to apply the Jalandhar Bandha. Just remember the purpose. Purpose is that prana, Vayu should not be allowed to release from the lower door. It should not be allowed to release from the upper door. Okay? So, for restricting the upper doors, you are putting your chin in the jugular notch. If you are putting the chin in the jugular notch, your all upper doors will be closed. Okay? So, then thereafter, when you find that now Kumbhaka is Kumbhakante, at the end of the Kumbhaka and the beginning of the Rechaka, Kumbhakante Rechaka, though, in the beginning of the Rechaka, you have to apply the Uddiyana Bandha. But this control comes after a long practice. Otherwise, you will not be able to practice. If you are practitioner for a long time, then only you will be able to apply this. Otherwise the Uddiyana Bandha, just for the sake of training the system, in standing you keep your both the palms on the and exhale, then posterior stretching. Okay, but keep in mind that your stomach should be empty. Okay, then only you will be. So with the help of this process, you will be able to understand how to apply the Udyan Bandha in the beginning of Rechaka. Thereafter, exhalation. These are the technical terms used. Three phases. Remember, in pranayam there are three phases. Puraka means inhalation, Kumbhaka means retention, and Rechaka is exhalation. But in all the three phases, if your awareness is not with, this is not called pranayam. Your awareness should be. Pardon? Yes, sir. Actually speaking, when you exhale, just all can experience it. Just you sit upright. Just we have 2-3 minutes. Just sit upright. Gently close your eyes. Inhale with awareness. And exhale with awareness. Now you have to follow my instruction. When you inhale completely, there is a natural pause inside. Try to mark this pause. When you exhale completely, there is a pause outside. Mark this pause. Now slowly you open your eyes. When you do this, slowly you will be able to increase the time of this pause. And when you increase the time of the pause, in this Kumbhaka retention part is introduced automatically. When you exhale, there is a natural pause outside. In the beginning, what we have to do is, we have to observe this pause in and out. While doing this inhalation, exhalation with awareness. Just mark the pause in and out. And you see the result. That is what in Vipassana meditation, Anapan is nothing but it is the same, one and the same. There is no difference at all. You have Vipassan. V is a prefix in Sanskrit. There are 32 prefixes in the Sanskrit. Prapara, Apsamanu, Apnis, Nirdusdur, Vyangni, Adyapi. 32. V Visheshena. Visheshena. Specifically, you have to see your breathing, whether you are inhaling or exhaling. That is Vipassan, Visheshen Passan. Passan देखते हुए उसको करना है. That is what is the awareness is to be had. And slowly, when you increase this time, pause time, into this what you call Kumbhaka is introduced automatically. And there's no, otherwise you are using your sophisticated organs inside, and something may go wrong. And if internal organ there's a damage, you will not be able to purchase it from the super bazaar. That is to be kept in mind. Therefore, we have to be careful. Actually, most of the Hadi Yogi, they have given too much emphasis to the Antar Kumbhaka. There's no Bahya Kumbhaka. But when you are talking about the Bahya Bhyantar Vishakshepi, Bahya Bhyantar, Patanjali is talking about this Bahya and Abhyantar, both. But in Hadi Yogic text, more emphasis is the internal Kumbhaka, because you have purpose is different. There in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, the purpose is silencing the mind with the help of this breathing. Here, the purpose is to enter the prana into Sushumna. That is the purpose. So, purpose is different. Ultimately, with the coursing the prana into Sushumna, they are also going to get the Unmani Avastha. That is also yogic awareness, that mind is, thereafter the mind is calm and composed. Purpose is one and the same. But one is going through this path and another one is going to another path. Reaching to the same goal. Actually speaking, Patanjali does not talk about Sushumna, Patanjali does not talk about other things. Okay? So, the purpose is, one is directly taking the mind, talking about the mind, and these Hatha Yogis, they are through the practices, they are reaching to the mind. That, of course, there are different paths. You can go to the Samadhi only through Bhakti Yoga. You can go to Samadhi only, there are so many paths, different paths. So whatever is suitable to, that is why in the morning I was talking, it is a super bazaar. So you have to keep yourself under observation, you have to find which is more suitable to you. Go through Shiv Samhita, wherein the qualities are given. If you are having that kind of quality, you try that mantra or try that mantra yoga or Hatha yoga or lay yoga or Raj yoga, whatever it may be. So, in olden days when students, the disciples were staying with the master, master was observing the disciples, that this particular disciple is emotion oriented. Okay. So he put him in the bhakti yoga. Yes, you have to kirtan and this and that, you have to do this. And other one is more analysis, indulged in the analysis part. Why I am here, what is the purpose of my life, this and that, Then go to Vedanta, Jnana Yoga. Okay? And I believe, but all three, according to me, cannot be separated. When whatever, in Chandogya Upanishad, beautifully it is said, Yadev Shraddhya Vidya Upanishado Kuroti, Shraddhya, you should have that kind of unshaking faith, trust, which is, you have experienced that. Shraddhya, Vidya, unless you have that Shraddha, so Shraddha, Vidya, full knowledge related to that particular. And your attitude should be upasana like. So upasana. Shraddha, Vidya, Upanishado Karoti, Tadeva Virya Valtaram Bhavati. So whatever you do, your action becomes fruitful. Only then. So whatever you do, your action becomes fruitful only if you have the proper knowledge. And if you apply this total dedication, devotion to that work, then only you will be successful. So all three basically they are not different. It depends upon the temperament. But whatever is described by Hatha Yoga, that may not be available. Hatha Vidya, Raj Yoga Upadeshita. If we consider Patanjali as a Raj Yoga, so this is the preparation for this Raj Yoga. And therefore Patanjali does not talk about Sushumna or Bandhas or Mudras. He doesn't talk about this. Pardon? Ujji. Actually, one credit goes to Swami Ramdev ji for popularizing this aspect. Because if you go to the local train, people in the morning, even if you go to the foreign countries and you see the people, they are sitting and doing this pranayam, this credit goes to Ramdev Baba. This much credit should be given to Ramdev Baba. Does it? Of course. No, in Sahaj Yoga there's no. Actually, Sudarshan Kriya, particularly of Sri Sri Maharaj Ji, Ravi Shankar Ji, it is a old wine in a new bottle, I would say, like that. Because I never criticize anyone. If someone is doing something, it is going to happen. Either you do this or that. Okay, so it is a kind of in Hiran Samhita itself, it is said, Hakarena Vahir Jati, one verse will be there. We are going to go through this verse. Hakarena Vahir Jati, Sakarena Vishet Puna, Hans Ityamum Mantram, Jivo Japti Sarvada. Gherend says, not only the human being, but all the creatures, they are reciting the same mantra. What is that? Hakarena Vahir Jati. Hakarena Vahir Jati. Sakarena Vishet Puna. Again, Hans, this is the Hans mantra. Amum Jivo Japti, all the creatures, they are reciting the same mantra, but we are not aware of this fact. So just we have to add our awareness to this Soham Hamsa. That's all. That is the purpose. So when you do Sudarshan Kriya, that is the Bhastrika Pranayam. Actually, so therefore I said it is a new wine it is an old wine in a new bottle. Nothing else. Yes? That is also very, very important. I would like to say before you, but though the time is over, Mr. Sushil Sinde, he was a police inspector in Lonavala. Once he came to me, said that I am suffering from blood pressure. I am doing this Sudarshan Kriya for the last 3-4 years, but my BP is not being decreased. So just I asked him, let me know how you are practicing. He started practicing because he is an intellectual and person belongs to the police department, Not easy to convince him. I took him to the choreograph machine in our physiology department. Then all the instruments, after this, then I instructed him to start practicing. He started. He himself could understand that when he was practicing in a wrong way, the BP was shooting, Then only he was totally convinced. Then we instructed him that you have to do it. You do it. No, but do it in like as we are prescribing to you. Then he changed. Till date, he is my best friend, Till date, he is the best friend of mine now. He is a D by SP. Something, I don't know the designation. Colonel Saab may be knowing. So, he is practicing now and he is okay. He is maintaining the BP also. And you will be surprised, no, he is not taking medicine. Before that he was taking medicine also. So he has stopped taking this salt, He is a pakka sankalpi admi hai. He has passed a resolution. Pakka sankalp karke shuru kiya usne, and now he is free from this problem. Maintaining the problem. No, now we have modified. So thank you very much. Tomorrow onwards, please come along with the books. So tomorrow we'll start the